Your energy is a priceless commodity. Hello, and welcome to this YouTube channel. My name is Jameelah, and I am a master manifester, and I'm sure you are too because you are consuming content like this. The name of this channel is Holistic Manifesting because I believe in the whole body, whole mind, and whole being experience when it comes to manifesting these amazing lives that we are choosing. What I'm discussing in this video is how important it is to understand the commodity, the priceless commodity that your energy is. I think that we don't always put enough attention on it. People are so focused on money in society so much. And while money, of course, is important, currency, the little pieces of paper that we use to exchange for things so that we can eat, we can, have a roof over our head, we can have running water, all these wonderful things is super important. But what you use your energy for to make those resources available to you is equally, if not even way more important. And even more importantly, you have to understand that people, places, and things that are not necessarily working for your benefit is always going to be pulling at your energy at any given time. Think about it like this. Have you ever been going about your day doing like da 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 and having a good time or just having a content time, whatever it was? For me, content is a good time, and also being happy is a good time. All those things, good times. But going about your day and then you receive a text message from somebody and it's just some nonsense. It's like you don't mean to look at it that way. You're just like, this is nonsense. Why are they sending this to me, right? And you can think about it, and so many people don't know how to retract their energy from those sort of things, and they start to engage with this person who obviously wants to share nonsense and have a conversation about nonsense, right? They don't know how to pull back their energy and say, well, I don't have to answer that. I don't have to entertain it. I don't have to even be bothered with it, right? And move on to something else. And it is a practice, because the more you do it, the easier it gets. And then you'll find yourself going 2 and 3 days and you're like, oh Lord, I never did answer that message from that person. But I guess there's nothing to answer. They just sent me nonsense. They didn't ask me my opinion about it. They didn't say anything. They just sent it. And you just kind of move on with your life, right? And you realize you don't have to give your energy to that. There was a time when I used to entertain people sending me memes all day, because there's some people that do that. And they're just like funny memes, and they were funny. They were funny. I can't even say that the memes were not funny, but it was just like several, 2 or 3 per hour. And then the next, hour, then it's like 4 this hour, then it's like 1 the next hour, and it's constant. And what I found was that every single time these people would send me these messages or these memes, I'm stopping to look at it, and then the automatic thing that I'm doing after that is scrolling to the next one or looking at the page that they sent me. It's never just a one-off and I'm just looking at the thing and then moving on. So then I've wasted so much energy during that day kind of engaging with the nonsense of these little funny memes, right? And so while there's nothing like terribly wrong with that, that's how it gets in. That's how it tricks you, because you're just like, well, this is funny. This is making me feel good. This is kind of lifting me up. Well, what is it that you're not giving your energy and your time to that is distracting you from? We have to remember that we don't have to get pulled into everything that comes across our plate. And when you're doing something like raising children, that is a huge one, right? Because, the other day, about 4 days ago, the little one, not little, but, little one, big one, I used to always say that, right? The little one comes to me and is like, oh, I want this video game. Of course, a video game. And I'm just like, why do you think you need to get a video game right now? She was like, please. And I'm like, that doesn't work anymore. It does a tiny bit, but it really doesn't though. It does a tiny bit. It's like, please. And I'm like, no. And so and then she kept going on about, but I never played this game and it's this and that. And she tried to bring me into nostalgia. Didn't you play Zelda when you were little? I was like, Zelda didn't look like that when I was a kid. And yes, I play Zelda a lot. Well, it's this version of Zelda and blah, blah, blah. And this kingdom and all these things. She's telling me the lore of it and stuff. And I'm like, oh, that's cool. So she dragged me into her little, plot and scheme. And to get her to leave me alone, I said, I'll think about it. She went, yay, and ran off. And I'm like, I said I'll think about it. But I think they know that if you leaving that door open, that's a better possibility than if you just saying no, right? And she said, yay, and then moved on to something else. Well, that was like a week earlier. 2 days, 2 or 3 days later, she came back again, She's like, oh, can I get this video game? And I'm just like, I don't know. I'm still thinking about it. She's like, okay. And then almost 7 days later, she's like, can I get this video game? Now, I'm a firm believer that if you can't let something go and you keep on going on about it, then you probably really want it. But there's so many things on a regular basis that they mention to me on a fly and talk about they want and they want to get and all this, and I never hear about it again. And so that just showed me a long time ago that you cannot entertain everything these children are talking about that they want to do or that they want to experience. You have to wait until they have a burning desire for something and then go, okay, you can do that. Okay, you can have that, right? Because I can honestly say they don't ask for much very often at all. So when something does show up, it's just like, what do you need that for? And I make them really consider whether or not it's important. But I don't let my energy get dragged into every little notion that they have all day. I kind of just like hear it and then I move on. And sure enough, 9 times out of 10, that little thing that they threw around, they're not going to even talk about it the next day. And then I've been so many times where I got all bogged down and caught up on it. And I'm like, didn't you say you need a new pair of jeans that fit you because you were going to be doing this? And I'm online looking for jeans and stuff. It's like, oh yeah, I did say that, huh? Not anymore. I don't do it. And we have to remember that our energy is such a precious commodity that we can't just go throwing it around every time somebody raises their hand and go, hey, can I get your attention? Hey, can I get your attention? And especially me, when I was working in different environments, like in workplaces, people are really big with that. They come up to you and they start telling you about what went on or their vacations or their weekends. And while I don't mind hearing that stuff and I think it's fine and dandy, if I'm in the middle of doing something else, or if that's not the day that I want to entertain that conversation, you have to learn how to get out of it in a clever way, right? Some people are flat out just, no, come back later, I'm busy. I used to always do this thing to where I kept an earbud in my ear, even though it wasn't on. And when people would come up to the desk I was sitting at, because it was just in the open, available, and it always made it seem like you were ready for a conversation, they would come up and they would start just talking. Oh my gosh. So how was your weekend? And that's how they get you. They act like they're coming to ask you something about you, but they're really not. They just want to come dump what they got going on in their lives, which is fine. But sometimes you don't have to give your energy to it. If it was certain people who I knew just wanted to talk and who just wanted to extract your attention to use for themselves and almost, actually an actual energy vampire, and then they walk away, you're feeling like, ugh, that was a whole rough conversation. And then they're walking away going to the next person's desk and you're like, no, not today. I would see this one guy come in and I would do this. Oh, give me a moment. And by the time I was done with that, he'd already found somebody else to go suck the energy of at another desk or something. And it just made me realize how important it is to treat your energy like it's priceless, because other people who do these things and like who want to extract, they don't care. Their whole goal is just to extract. They don't really care that you're feeling a certain way. I remember even dating somebody for a while and they would tell me about their day, but they would literally dump it on me in such a way to where it wasn't an energy exchange. It wasn't a conversation. Like they had no ability to have like a back and forth conversation and actually care about what the other person was doing. It was all about them sharing and dumping and just like, this is what I did today. I talked to so-and-so. I got into work this morning. And it would be like a 10-minute conversation and I wouldn't have a word in and I would be like, okay. And I couldn't figure out for a while. I thought I was a bad person because I was like, you should be able to listen to other people's day. And I'm like, but I can't. I couldn't figure out for a while why it was so bad. It was so bad because there was no energetic exchange. I was being extracted. My energy was being drained from me, from my attention, for my essence, for my solution-based mindset and all this stuff. It was being extracted from me in those moments, but there was nothing being given in return. And so what I learned is to start harboring my own energy and keeping it for myself and not allowing it to be sucked out of me. And you can almost guarantee that the minute I became this way of standing in my own power and like keeping my energy for myself, which anybody who really cares or appreciates you wants you to be that way. They want you to stand in your own power. Of course, it became an issue for the other person because they can't like extract and suck from you. They want to be able to tell you all the great things that they did and you go, oh, you're so amazing. They really want a cheerleader. And to do that type of work, to be a sidekick and a cheerleader, that's a lot of work. It's exhausting. And some people are better at it than others. I'm really not that good at it. I'm just not that good at it. And because at some point, I'm going to want to have an even exchange, a meeting of the minds. I'm going to want us to be on the same level to some degree. And a lot of people don't know how to give that. So if you're always treating your energy as a precious commodity, people can't just walk up to you and steal your energy. They can't steal your good day. You ever hear people say, I was in a good day until so-and-so, whatever, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, because you didn't guard your energy. You didn't treat your energy like it was a precious commodity. It was open for the taking. You were feeling good and feeling free. But at the same time, you weren't thinking like, but I don't have to give my attention to that. I don't have to give my attention to that. And you allowed something else to come in and extract. And you didn't even notice that you were allowing it to come in and extract. So that's why I always start my day with these affirmations and stuff. I'm in the right place at the right time, in the perfect environment, with the perfect attitude around the perfect people. And I say this because that's what I want to experience. So when I go into environments and I go out and I interact with other people, it's very rare that I get mentally drained like that, because I can notice almost instantly when somebody's trying to, harvest energy, somebody's just trying to extract from you when they're not in a give and take. I actually ran across a person like that yesterday doing, some conversations about work I want to do. And out of everybody that I was in contact with that day, it was this one person. And she was clearly that. And I didn't give her any of my attention the whole time. And you best believe she kept putting herself in a position to be noticed and seen the rest of the time that I was there while we were all having lunch together. She kept interjecting. It was like, well, I went and did this. And it was just conversation that nobody else was having. And then she's throwing that in there so she can pull everything back to herself, back to her everybody's energy and back on her again. And I was not playing ball. I was like, every time that conversation started or she was being manipulative in a way, and this is instant. I just met this person and it was clear as day. I just did something else. I started eating my food, or I was, avoiding looking at my phone. And I was drinking my little drink and everything like that. And then the minute it died down again and someone else brought up something else, and I would engage in a conversation. And I'm like, she's not here to have an even exchange. She's here to suck everybody else's energy for her own purposes and her own conversations about her own life and her own problems. And I can see it constant. And it doesn't take long if you're paying attention to people who want to harvest your energy, right? Anyway, treat your energy like it's a priceless commodity. I talk about that a lot in my book, Thriving Solo, A Single Mother's Guide to Manifesting Strength, Success, and Happiness, available April 6th. 2025, because no telling when you're watching this video. And I discussed that a lot, like how important it is to harbor your own energy. Like people are going to come around and try to suck it from you. And when you are a single mother and you're trying to achieve certain things, you want to be successful, you want to create the life that you choose, you don't have the time and energy to give out to other people for everything. You can't show up for everything. You can't be a part of everybody's events in their lives and all that stuff. And if they're the right people, they'll understand that, because when you're raising your children very intentionally and you're at the same time trying to be intentional about the life you're creating, you're not going to have all this free time to just sit and lounge on somebody's couch and watch Netflix with them or something. And if that's the expectation, you'll know that I shouldn't be wasting my time here. And I discuss themes like that a lot in this book, because that was one of the saving graces for me. I got really good at pulling my energy back and seeing how important it was to make sure I was sharing it in the right places with the right people. And sometimes that that meant not a lot of people, and sometimes it was a lot. It was quite a bit of people. But the minute it became something to where it was draining or pulling or negatively impacting my household in some kind of way, I was like, no, my family's suffering. You got to go. It's gotta go. This thing is getting too much of my attention. It's gotta go. This habit is not working for me. It's gotta go. So I discussed it a lot in this book, and it was a shameless plug, but that's what we got to remember. Your energy is so important, especially when you are raising other people, especially when you are in connection with other people. You have to be able to know when to give it away, when to turn it off. And even to this day, my daughters know. If I come back from a full day of interacting with a whole bunch of people, when we get back, I'm going to go in my room for about an hour. That's just who I am. And they don't even flinch anymore. And they do the same thing now, even for themselves, because what you don't notice is that if you don't do this, you'll be in these cranky moods. You'll be exhausted. You'll be mentally drained. And then people are getting these useless little arguments around the house. And you won't even know it's just because you needed to go call back your energy in another space. You needed to go get yourself back centered and aligned again, right? Your energy is a priceless commodity, and you must treat it that way. Have a wonderful, wonderful day.